right. What is up, everybody? We're getting into it. We're talking PFL and Bellator. We're on the road today. It's not our typical studio, but I'm still giving you guys the content. I really wish I could have done this yesterday, but I just was unable to. Was making a drive up to Tennessee, but I've arrived here and I have some time to break down this card for a final time. I am disappointed that Bellator and PFL want to go head-to-head against one another because they're both great cards. There's a lot of high-level talent on both. What I want to do is I want to quickly go through the images of the weigh-ins, talk about how the fighters looked on the scales, and then at the end I'll give you guys some of the best bets you could potentially play for a final time. Some changes on the PFL card as far as matchups do go. Tebow now fights Micah Tyrell, which is, a whole different matchup, which is disappointing because I was looking forward to seeing Curtis in action. Umalatov versus Leandro Silva. They've mixed things all around. We've lost some of our original matchups, but it is all good. We're still going to break it down. We still got some good ideas for this card. So what I will do is I will start over in the PFL, and then we'll work our way to Bellator. Make sure to smash the hell out of that like button, guys. I need at least 75 likes on this fight day weigh-in recap. I know it's a little late, and I do apologize, but we're still making it happen. Subscribe if you're new here, too. Shout out to everybody watching live. Shout out to everybody watching on replay. Appreciate everybody who chats it up in the live chat. But let's get into it. We're going to talk PFL first. I'm going to go through their full card, and then I'm going to go through the full card of Bellator. So we're going to be here for a while. We got a lot of knowledge to give to you guys and a lot of fights that I am looking forward to talking about for I think a third time this week. Let's get into it. The matchup changes for PFL do disappoint me a little bit, but it is what it is. Okay, first fight of the night for the PFL. The first fight we are going to be talking about, it's Stewart versus Elvin Espinoza. We'll look at the weigh-ins here. This was one of those fights where I said, younger guys not necessarily worth a bet, but it should be a victory for Espinoza. You can see them facing off there. Both in decent shape. Not a ton changes from my take after seeing the face-off. Honestly, nothing. I think the southpaw Espinoza, better striking game. I think that he'll probably pull off a unanimous decision. He's a fairly exciting unbeaten prospect, and I'm excited to see what he brings to the table against, a matchup against a guy in Hopton who's tough. It's not an easy fight. Elvin, pretty decent size favorite, around minus 205 at the low end, up even to 275 at the higher end of things. I think Espinoza wins this fight by a decision. We'll quickly look at what that play would be. Espinoza wins by decision, plus 275 potentially there. But one of those fights where I'm not feeling a bet personally, just due to the lack of high-level experience on both sides. And you can't sleep on Hopton. He is going to be a serious test for Elvin Espinoza. So no personal bet on this first fight of the night for the PFL, but I'm riding with Hopton Stewart to win. Kyron Bowen, Michael Lombardo. Okay, this fight right here, Bowen has kind of had a rough go in his past couple, 2-fight losing streak, one of which was a Contender Series fight, and the other is against dangerous Russian Umalatov, and he gets absolutely starched in that fight. It was honestly hard to watch that beatdown. When I went back and rewatched it, he got beat badly. On the other side, Michael Lombardo beat Corey Coupe in a dominant but not super impressive decision. I'm not going to overhype his performance. He looked okay out there, but he was able to win the fight against Corey Coupe, who was 6 feet 6 inches tall. He got inside a distance, controlled with wrestling. I think he beats Kyron Bowen as well. I think he's going to have to get inside the range for sure. He's only 6 feet. His opponent's 6'3". I believe he will do such a thing, but we will look at the face-off first. Look at them here. Slight height advantage, definitely in favor of Kyron Bowen. Both guys in fairly good shape. I think grappling-wise, slight edge towards Michael Lombardo. Boxing as well. I think he'll find a way inside. I think he'll find a way to get this fight to the floor. Decent work inside of the clinch too. And I think Lombardo wins this fight by a decision. What is this, our second fight of the night? So to keep the night moving on. Betting side of things, though, it's way too widespread. Lombardo has done nothing to make himself a minus 320 favorite for me. I personally am not going to bet him. On the other side, Kyron Bowen, he's upwards of plus 325. It's not that he's necessarily the most live of dogs, but I do think he could win the fight, and the odds being this widespread doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think they could be more towards, minus 200, even minus 175 from Michael Lombardo. We'll ride Lombardo to win, but the odds are not looking good for that one. It's ugly odds and not really worth the dinero down to come back with something big. So next fight, Magomed Umalatov, Leandro Silva. This is a matchup change. Silva recently fought David Kozama. That was, what organization was that in? Let's check it. He has boxing experience professionally. David Kuzama, 2021. That was an Octagon 24. Those fights aren't easy. And I mean, when you fight a guy like Silva, he's got boxing experience. He has UFC experience. One fight in the UFC. That's why his name was very familiar as soon as I saw it here. What weight class did he fight at in the UFC? Welterweight. Okay, and this fight here is still in the welterweight division. He's had some up and down results. I'm not trying to say that you can't box and do MMA successfully. I do think he has some good boxing skills. But in this fight here, he's a pure opponent for Umalatov. The odds are closer, for sure, in favor of Umalatov than the previous matchup. But really, because of the factor of the unknown, I think that Leandro Silva has that on his side. A good amount of pro experience, over 35 professional fights, or I believe actually 35 plus pro boxing. A lot of combat experience. I think Umalatov on the other side, though, the grappling game will still be too much. He's also taller by a fair amount. His kickboxing will be too dynamic. For me, Umalatov, good to go. He's going to win this fight against Leandro Silva, and he's going to continue to move forward in this PFL welterweight division, though this fight technically catchweight 172 because his opponent came in at 172. Let's see, odds-wise, Leandro Silva, yeah, he's like plus 265, plus 275. So money's definitely come down on Umalatov, deservingly so. You can see Silva there. Looks a little thick-boyed out. It's not going to be competitive. I see him getting dominated and stopped probably in the second round here. TKO. Let's keep on moving up the card. If you haven't yet, smash the hell out of that like button. As I said, we need at least 75 likes on this fight day weigh-in recap. Brett Cooper, Fudo Shin versus Tyler Hill. I will say, entertainment value-wise, I think this might be the most entertaining fight on this entire card. I think this is going to be a back-and-forth striking brawl, one of which I see Fudo Shin, Brett Cooper slightly edging out, but I think the odds should be a lot closer here. You can look at them facing off. Brett Cooper looks small, man. He's at a fair disadvantage of the height, and it's not like Hill isn't decently skilled. Obviously had disappointment, went on a losing streak, lost to guys maybe he shouldn't have even lost to. He fights Brett Cooper with so much pro experience, Bellator title challenger. I see Brett Cooper winning this fight, and I do think they're going to go at it and potentially second round KO for Brett Cooper. I remember Tyler Hill when he was on the Contender Series. I was impressed by him. I was high on him, but hasn't really had any uphill from there. It's really been downhill since his time on the Contender Series. I'm going with Fudo Shin, Brett Cooper, but odds minus 200, plus 168. I do think Brett will win this bout. Minus 200 is maybe slightly wide for a guy who I think is kind of out of his prime in Brett Cooper, but I still think he wins this one. Potential play for sure. Not my favorite bet of the night, but you definitely could potentially throw down on Brett Cooper. Next fight of the night, Oliver Aubin Mercier and Daryl Horcher. Now, this fight gets me excited because Aubin Mercier's striking game looked fantastic against Marcin Held, who was able to beat Natan Schultz, the former champion over at PFL. I was impressed by his head kicks. Obviously fights out of the southpaw stance, known for good grappling skills as well. I think he's a bit above Daryl Horcher in just technical abilities. You can see them hand shaking there. That image does not change anything for the prediction. Nothing shifts whatsoever. I believe this will be a victory in favor of Oliver Aubin Mercier. And I do want to make sure you guys can see these images from the weigh-ins. No, you cannot, man. You guys should have complained to me in the live, man. My apologies. I had to zoom in a bit, but it's all good. But you know what? I'm not trying to shit on PFL, but the images that we have for their face-offs here, you got half the guys wearing T-shirts. You ain't getting a ton out of it, unfortunately. I think that this is, even though Horcher missing weight, 4 pounds, it should be an Aubin Mercier dominant performance, and I predict second round submission for him. He's levels above Horcher. He always has been, and I believe he always will be. He's going to win in this matchup. Let's keep on moving up, though. The featured prelim tonight is Gleison Tebow and Micah Tyrell. They've switched the opponents. I was so excited to see Curtis Melender pull off a big upset. He was one of the dogs of the week, and now we lose that, which honestly, it does suck because I was really pumped to see the matchup. But that is the fight game. It is what it is. You lose fights, and we're going to have to check out Gleison Tebow and Micah Tyrell. Height advantage for Tyrell, a little soft. He's 37, and I mean, Tebow's a freak of nature at 38, being as jacked as he is. So, matchup-wise, you got Tyrell, pretty athletic Muay Thai-style striker. Gleison Tebow, pressure striker, southpaw. Went out there and got a controversial decision victory over Rory McDonald. I really feel like he can win this bout against Micah Tyrell. Odds, though, extremely wide right away. The odds are looking hideous right now for this fight. You know, not something that I'm feeling like throwing down on a 38-year-old Tebow. But he's going to beat Micah Tyrell here. But I do think leaning towards unanimous decision, because you look at the game of Tebow, not much of a finisher. When he does finish, normally it's by submission. Could potentially choke out Micah Tyrell here for sure. But I think Tebow, minus 320 favorite, is a pretty confident prediction. But I don't know if I want to go as crazy as to parlay it up. Like if you played Tebow inside the distance at plus 215, I don't think that's a terrible bet, but I would say play it with some caution because he's known for the decisions. Tebow decision, minus 110. The lines are expecting decision for him, and I'll pick decision for Gleison Tebow. I do think that's how he gets it done against Micah Tyrell in this matchup. Tebow, even though he's wearing a shirt, you can tell he's in his normal jacked shape as he always is. Next fight. First on the main card, so smash the hell out of that like button if you guys haven't yet. As I said, we need at least 75 likes on this live stream. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank God there's no changes to our playoffs. You know what? The undercard can have as much movement as it wants. The playoffs are what we're here for, which is the main card. There's 4 fighters here, and 2 of which you're going to see win $1 million. We have the lightweights and the welterweights. Tonight, Loik Radzhabov, Alex Martinez. We've seen it once before. Alex Martinez was kind of gifted a controversial nod, but I'm going to say one thing. Martinez was very entertaining from the back in that fight, constantly attacking for submissions. It was, for me, a very impressive from the bottom performance, whereas Loik Radzhabov was dominant from the top. He didn't do a ton. In this matchup here, I feel like Martinez can have a path to victory by being very active off the ground. PFL tends to award that, and I don't think that his opponent, Loik, is going to have a ton of success from the top position. I'm going Alex Martinez upset victory, dog play. Alex Martinez, I'm not picking against him in this rematch here. Plus 185, man. He's up at a big dog. People are very confident in Loik to just lay on him. I disagree. I think that Alex Martinez can win this matchup by a decision, even potentially a submission, because his guillotine is nasty. He was locking things up. Martinez submission is up at plus 1,200, plus 1,400. That's crazy. Are they asking for us to rob the bookies here? Martinez decision, plus 300. How are you going to sleep on a guy this bad? Sure, the first fight maybe was controversial, but it was under PFL's scoring set, which I'm pretty sure they score more towards activity over just advantageous position. I think that Alex Martinez is going to win again. He's going to beat Rodzhev in this matchup here. Nothing crazy from the face-off that it tells us, just a little bit of intensity. Alex Martinez is on his way to potentially winning $1 million if he gets past Rodzhev, which I do believe he will. Next fight is our featured bout of the night. It is lightweight battle, Clay Collard and Manfio. Two men who defeated the highly, highly exciting signing, Anthony Pettis. Both these guys beat Anthony. You know, years ago, you would never expect that Anthony Pettis was on the top of the world. You know, it's crazy to see him now losing to Clay Collard, who was a bottom-end guy in the UFC. Manfio, who never fought in the UFC, was a Titan FC champion. But these guys are skilled fighters. They have a lot of experience. Clay Collar's boxing is very good. His kickboxing game as well. But in professional boxing, he's competed and he's done well. Manfio on the other side kind of was a basic striker. Still kind of is. You know, a lot of 1-2 combinations. Not a ton of dynamic striking, but he is very durable and strong and is constantly pressuring. I think Clay Collard beats him on a 29-28 competitive decision. I'll ride with Clay here, but it's not an easy fight against Manfio, who definitely wants this $1 million, and he knows a win here. He's a fight away from life-changing money, as is Clay. This is what I love about PFL. There's no other tournament in mixed martial arts. I mean, I guess Bellator occasionally, but that's only their top guys. Like, that just gives everybody a shot at $1 million. Gotta love PFL for that. Clay minus 168 favorite. Manfio like plus 140-ish dog. I gotta ride with Cassius Clay Collard here. Thinking decision. Potential play at minus 168. I like fight goes the distance here. What is the value of that? Fight goes the distance is minus 200. It was a little bit shorter earlier on in the week. So if you are looking to bet it now, it's going to be up at the minus 200 price tag. But I don't think it's a terrible one. And I'm going victory for Cassius Clay Collard to keep on moving up this PFL card, man. That's going to be a big moment. I'm glad that we get to see some of these finalists. Now, co-main event of the evening, Magomedov versus Sabito-Sai. You know, I've gotten familiar with both guys at this point. Sabito-Sai was able to win his last fight. It was against Alexei Kuchenko. I predicted that victory. It was an upset. I think his size alone was really a substantial factor for a guy so much smaller in Kuchenko. But this is not a matchup against a guy who's at a significant height disadvantage. Yeah, reach-wise, he's 7 inches shorter. But Magomedov is going to find a way inside. He's going to find a way to get this fight to the ground. And he's going to win the fight. And he's going to probably do so by a submission in the first or second round. I don't see it being all that competitive. Striking-wise, Sai is fantastic. But when it touches the floor, he is going to be a fish out of water. So I have to ride with Magomedov here for a submission. Though I do enjoy Sabito-Sai's striking game. And it is enjoyable to watch. It's about who I think is going to win the fight. And that's Magomedov, who's up at 1,000 favorite. My goodness, the odds are huge for him. Not much expected success for Sabito-Sai. Magomedov wins inside the distance. You can find it at minus 163. That's not a bad bet at minus 163. He's going to win inside the distance here. We're riding Magomedov for the victory, and I don't think it'll be all that competitive at all, to be 100% honest, guys. Striking-wise, though, Sai is dangerous, so, you know, he has probably, 35 seconds to a minute to potentially get himself a knockout win, or Magomedov's going to run through him. Rory McDonald, Ray Cooper III. This is a good fight. Rory McDonald hasn't looked great, but Gleison Tebow, tricky southpaw, older guy with a lot of pro experience. On the other side, Ray Cooper, dangerous boxer, good wrestling skills. Not going to be an easy matchup. He finds ways inside fairly easily against taller guys, and he does have power in his hands. Could hurt Rory here. Rory's striking does not look as precise and fast as it once did, but I think that he'll still be able to slightly edge it through. I don't think it's easy, but I'm riding with the Red King, Rory McDonald here. If that's even still his nickname anymore, because he's always changing it up. I feel like Rory's technically superior to Ray Cooper. He really should win this fight. Is it a guarantee that he does pull forward with victory? No, of course not, especially against a hungry Ray Cooper. Who knows? I mean, if you beat Rory McDonald, Ray Cooper has developed himself a pretty nice resume outside of the UFC with wins over a lot of ex-UFC title challengers. Jake Shields, and then if he adds, Rory McDonald on the list, Ray Cooper's a dangerous man, and he's a very, very good fighter. As far as this fight goes, betting odds-wise, let's see what we can find here. All right, Ray Cooper. Ooh, that's Brett Cooper. Ray Cooper. Am I blind here? I don't know why I can't find the Rory McDonald odds, guys. I don't know if I'm having a brain fart here. Let's see. Let's look up Rory. Rory McDonald, Ray Cooper the third. Okay. Yeah, it's because they have it on next week's card. That's the weirdest thing ever. Hopefully that's a mistake. Hopefully we didn't get this fight just canceled. That would be absolutely terrible. But we're going to have to double check it because PFL is literally canceling fights left and right. Yeah, their main event is not canceled. I don't know what Best Fight Odds is doing. That's why we're not normally using Best Fight Odds anymore, because they are kind of a shit show as of late. But all good. Let's check it out. McDonald wins by a decision. Plus 175. For Ray Cooper, win by a decision. Plus 300. Over 1.5, minus 350. Over 2.5, minus 160. Fight goes the distance, minus 134. I do think fight goes the distance here. Even though Ray hits hard, it's not like Rory's any bit of a suspect chin. Rory is tricky as hell. I got to go with Rory still to win this bout. Not an easy one, though. Not an easy one by any means. But he's going to win here. And I think he will probably do so by a very hard-fought decision. Yeah, we'll ride with him. I don't know what Best Fight Odds is doing. Sorry to complain about Best Fight Odds this much, but my goodness. All right, so pretty solid card for PFL. We're going to jump over to Bellator, and then I'll get into some cross parlays that we could potentially play. But I do want to break down this Bellator card for a second or third time this week. Give you guys my final thoughts here. Cancellations. We lost fights that I was actually really looking forward to. Sabatello lock of the week. Justin Montalvo was an exciting prospect I was excited to see. We lost a Necruz Makhar fight, the guy whose name is nearly impossible to say. So we finish off with just 8 fights on this Bellator card. Let's check out these matchups. Orlando Mendoza, Joe McNeal. I am excited to see this fight because I do think entertainment value-wise, these guys are going to go at it. Because from what I've seen of Joe McNeal, it's forward pressure brawler, and he has been slept before. I don't know what's going on with this page. Here we go. There's shredded out Joe McNeal. He looks in great shape. He looks in better shape than his opponent. I think Joe McNeal is live here, guys. Just looking at the physique alone. Joe McNeal is not going to be an easy guy to beat. He's in incredible shape. Looking at this, and then from what I've seen of his body before, it's a big jump of physique, man. This guy's in good shape. He's trying to win himself his his Bellator debut. Odds are pick'ems, deservingly so. I picked Orlando Mendoza. I still think he could definitely get the knockout win. From what I've seen of McNeal, the chin's a bit high, hittable down the line. But Mendoza doesn't have a ton of high-level experience either. It's one of those fights, we can break it down and look at it, but we don't know how they're going to perform, at the highest of levels. Neither guy with, that pro-level experience, both debuting. Crazy that they're both getting their debuts in Bellator. I think it's a toss-up. That's why the odds are pick'ems. May the best man win it. Orlando Mendoza was the pick earlier in the week. After seeing them face off, McNeal looks in incredible shape, and I think is a stern test. We'll slightly lean after the weigh-ins. I'm leaning McNeal, but by no means am I saying to bet it. By no means is that a confident pick change. That is a who the fuck really knows, because both these guys are making their pro debuts. There's realistically, I hate to be, a shit talker of the organizations, but I don't believe Bellator should be having debuting fighters on their cards. Leave that to lower level MMA organizations. I think that Bellator should only be having guys with like pro fights, like how the UFC is not going to have, some debuting kids on their card. Like if they want to be, thought of as, second tier to UFC or, even nearing head to head, they can't be having fights like this. So I'll go McNeal on fight day, but who knows? And not a fight I'll be betting on, so does not really matter. Next fight of the night, Sebastian Ruiz and Jeffrey Glossner. You look at Ruiz's record, I think it's a little bit deceiving. He's actually not a bad fighter, even though he's 2-3 as a pro. Thai style of striker, pretty good with closing distance, and has some nasty kicks as well. With Glossner, he went out there and he got controlled badly against Jalon Bates. There's not a lot negative or positive to say, I guess. It's kind of a lot of neutrality towards Jeffrey Glossner. It's one of those fights, like Glossner is supposed to win it. It's a setup fight. You got a guy with a losing record versus a guy who's 3-2. Another one. I don't think these guys are Bellator level, and I'll keep it 100 with you guys. I don't think that Bellator should be putting these type of fights on their cards, but if they want to do it, that's up to them. I'm not the promoter there. Doesn't matter to me, but I genuinely don't even enjoy having to break it down, because who the fuck really knows with fights like this? Really, it's who's going to show up better on fight day. As far as the face-off, yeah, they looked into it. They both looked in decent shape body-wise. I don't think that tells a lot of it. Could be all over the place. Dog or pass style play here, betting-wise. I can't even say I'm picking Glossner after seeing them face off. I can't really say I'm picking Ruiz. It's a no bet. Who gives a rat's ass? But I'll slightly lean towards Ruiz simply because his striking style. But Glossner is supposed to win the fight, and it is a setup fight here. If you want a dog play, you can. It'd be a very risky dog play betting on a 2-3 fighter against a 3-2 fighter. But we'll ride with, I guess, Sebastian Ruiz, I guess, but I picked Glossner earlier in the week. So you know what? Glossner, pick, bet, dog, Sebastian Ruiz. That's my take on this one, but I hate to be that guy, but I don't care about that fight, to be 100% honest with you guys. -175 for Glossner, +163 for Ruiz. Okay, it is what it is, but it's one of those fights. I don't give a fuck, to be 100% honest, guys. I don't like seeing low-level MMA on Bellator's cards. I have a problem with it personally. I think when you're a top-level organization, you have to hold yourself to a higher standards. PFL isn't really doing that, so I don't think that Bellator should either. Pam Sorensen, Roberta Payam Semad. Okay, so this fight right here, interesting matchup. Pam Sorensen, or Sorensen rather, I like the game she's bringing to the table overall. She's a pretty well-rounded girl, light on her feet, mixes it up well with the striking. Her opponent, Samad, pretty square stance, but grappling-wise, heavy on top, good ground and pound. I'll go Sorensen wins by a decision, but it's women's MMA, which is not really all that advised towards betting. You can see them facing off there, slight head advantage for Samad. But yeah, we'll ride in Sorensen for the W. Let's keep on moving. Werder, Kazarmat Bestev to start off this main card. Dude, this Bellator card is small now, man. Only 8 fights. They've lost a ton of action. And honestly, I think they've lost some of their best fights that they had on the card, unfortunately. Werder, one side, I think he has the power advantage. Definitely a durability edge, boxing skill set. Kazarmat Bestev, tall striker, chin is up a bit too high. He is 6'6". I think he gets knocked out in the first round. Werder for the win. We'll look at them facing off here. Bestev, he looks old, man. He looks very old. Very old. For some reason, they don't want to move. We're on that on-the-road Wi-Fi, guys, so it is what it is, but we're making it happen. Big height advantage. But yeah, I think that Werder should sleep Kazarmat Bestev here. I'm riding Werder for the win. Odds-wise, Werder -300, Bestev sitting at plus 235. I got to go with Werder, and I don't think it's all that competitive. Like, I don't think it's close really at all here. It shouldn't be at the very least. But let's keep on moving up the card. I want to get through some of these fights to the fights that I'm actually excited for. Next fight, Everett Cummings, Davion Franklin. This is the first we've really get to see Everett in several years, and he does not look good. He's 15-0. He looks about 60. My goodness. Everett Cummings, I don't know how he built this 15-0 record. Guess he was just taking smart fights. He does have, I believe, a couple Bellator fights in the past. Look at Davion Franklin, looking thick. Huge size advantage. I'll be honest with you. Even though Everett Cummings is 15-0, when you're 15-0 and I can't find footage on you, that means you fought essentially nobodies. It's going to be Davion Franklin running over Everett Cummings. I don't see it being a competitive fight. I think it's extremely one-sided, and I think victory here for Davion Franklin, KO, TKO, round number 1 or 2 here. It's not a competitive matchup, though Cummings' record looks good at 15-0. See some props here. Franklin wins inside the distance. Minus 150 is not bad for that. Probably going to be a KO, TKO, though I don't really see him shooting for that sub. If you can find it minus 130, Franklin KO, TKO is not terrible. I think he's going to beat the hell out of Everett Cummings here. He really should. That's what I'm expecting from him. So Davion Franklin for the victory in this Bellator heavyweight matchup. Let's move on up. The featured bout of the night, Magomedov and Rafael Stots. This is a fight that gets me intrigued. This is a fight that gets me excited. This is one that I think is going to deliver. This is the highest level of bantamweight action outside of the UFC. I believe either guy could hold the belt here in this Bellator bantamweight division. Magomedov, though, is going to slightly edge him out on the scorecards. I believe it's going to be a good grappling style of attack. I think his kickboxing will be on point. Interesting enough, he comes in light, man. 133.8. Man's way under the limit, which is interesting. Wonder why. Looks good there. Face-off's intense. This is a fight. This is a very high-level fight in the bantamweight division. Both guys towards the top of the weight class, 100%. Both guys could be fighting for the title by the start of 2022, and I think it will be Magomedov. But the odds are way too wide here. This should be a lot closer. They're not giving Stots any respect on the lines, which is unfortunate because he's a very high-level fighter, but he's not getting the love. That is the fight game, though. We'll ride Magomedov for the win. Gets it done by a decision. Betting-wise, maybe fight goes the distance play. What's that sitting at? Fight goes the distance, minus 225. Magomedov wins by a decision, minus 150. So there's definitely some opportunities. But, yeah, should be Magomedov here. I don't think it'll be all that competitive. Next fight, co-main event, Andre Koreshkov, Sabah Homasi. Sabah's got the power edge. If he touches you, he has the touch of death. He will put you to bed. Andre Koreshkov on the other side is a more dynamic overall fighter. His grappling game is very difficult to deal with. We've seen Sabah struggle with grappling in the past. I think that Andre Koreshkov will be able to beat the sleek chic Sabah Homasi here by a unanimous decision. The power, though, of Sabah does concern me. Koreshkov could be hurt with an overhand punch, and I feel like Sabah Homasi's power, in the past couple of years has like gone to an astonishing point. Like, he hits harder than we've ever seen him. Last fight was a loss to Paul Daly, but it wasn't really a bad loss. It was a loss that he was slept in after he nearly had Paul Daly out of there on multiple occasions. He ended up getting a little bit over-aggressive, gets caught, gets knocked out. Koreshkov, very different style, a lot more patient, a lot more technical. Is not going to engage in a brawl with him like that. I think he's going to get this fight to the ground. He's going to control 30-27, Andre Koreshkov for the win. You can look at them facing off here. See Sabah on the scales. We can look at Koreshkov on the scales here. A little face-off action. Sabah looks intense, man. Both guys look intense. This is a very interesting fight. I think odds are way too wide, man. I think it's just the Russian name, the Ov at the end. They're giving a little more love on the lines to Koreshkov than they probably should have, because I think he could be a minus 250 favorite. even minus 200. I don't think he deserves a minus 400 price tag, but unfortunately, that's what it is sitting up at. Main event of the evening. Smash that like button if you have not yet. Subscribe if you guys are new here. Let's get at least 75 likes on this full Bellator and PFL final breakdown on fight day, which I am very glad that I decided to do. Thank you guys for tuning into the show. Gegard Mousasi, John Salter. Now I can get excited, man. I'm interested in this matchup. Striking-wise, Mousasi has a serious edge over John Salter. It's just, can he fend off the takedown? Salter is going to look to wrestle on numerous occasions here. It's going to be continuous. It's going to be a lot of chain wrestling. I do think that Mousasi has the skills to fend the takedown off. I think he's going to land crisp punches and slowly break down John Salter for a late TKO. I'm seeing fourth round TKO in favor of Gegard Mousasi over John Salter in this matchup. You look at Salter, he looks in good shape. Gegard Mousasi looking like Gegard as always, very relaxed, very calm. Can see the face off there, and I will ride Gegard Mousasi, win KO TKO, round number 4. Let's see what the odds are at. Gegard is a huge favorite. He's up at minus 400, minus 360 at best value. Mousasi wins by KO TKO, plus 160. That's not a bad bet. Mousasi KO TKO plus 160. Let's see. Mousasi wins round 4 plus 1,600. I need to bet that round 4 plus 1,600 bet. Over 1.5 minus 200. It's definitely going to go over 1.5. Over 2.5 minus 120. I think that's good too. Over 3.5 could get tricky here. I think that's where I'll lean you more towards that prop. Fight doesn't go the distance, minus 200. Fight under 4.5, minus 150. Some okay bets there, but I like Mousasi KO TKO. I also like the sprinkle of maybe a third, fourth, and fifth round for Gegard Mousasi, because I do think he's going to be looking for the TKO. He said no more decisions, and I believe he'll win this fight by TKO against John Salter and successfully defend that Bellator title. It's so disappointing we didn't get to see him and Lovato run it back, because Lovato decides to retire from the game. But Gegard Mousasi looks good, as always. The champ, once again, as expected. He's a very skilled fighter, and I believe he's going to beat John Salter here. Potentially down the line, fight between Gegard and Yoel Romero. If Yoel is able to beat Davis, or even if he loses to Davis, that fight could still potentially be made. So lots of intriguing matchups on the horizon. Between these two cards, you guys are probably going to have to choose which one you're going to give your full attention to. Even if you have both on the screen, you probably can't zone into both. If I had to pick one, I'd probably lean towards the PFL card, because it's leading to the playoffs. Appreciate everybody in the live chat who's tuning in. The locks essentially still the same. Get those Russian cats on your locks, man. Hey, I appreciate you, man. The Song Yadong pick was a good one on the lock. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, my man. Rory and Ray have the same record. That is interesting, actually. McNeal opened at like a plus 185 line drop because he saw his physique. Yeah, he looked in great shape. And he's fighting a debuting guy. It's a lot of question marks around that fight. But I do want to send you guys off with some parlays. I don't want you guys to leave without some cross-play ideas. Give me $1,000. What am I going to be playing this weekend? Well, let's first jump over here and let's just be intelligent. Let's add the Russian cats on the line. I think we have to be smart and add these Russians in. And I also feel like you could put Gegard here. Minus 128. Magomedov, Umalatov, Mousasi. And maybe if you want to put another Magomedov, it's plus 120. That's a 4-fight cross parlay at plus 120. It's going to be a little nerve-wracking, and it does suck that you got to get a minus 1,000 guy in there. And I know a lot of the bookie sites aren't going to allow you to prop up inside the distance alongside of the victory, so they're not going to let you get that juicy plus money. But I still think this is a very viable and likely parlay that will hit here. I like Oliver Albien Mercier as well a lot on this card. I think Gleison Tebow definitely should win here. I think that towards the top end of things, Clay Collard, Rausch Manfio is a tricky fight that I'll lean towards skipping on. betting wise. Just simply, I don't want that pressure when they go at it. Plus 231 for this wild ass cross parlay 6-fight. I think there's some decent value there. As far as dogs do go, I'm disappointed that we lost Curtis Melender's matchup, man. Plus 802 if you did add in Alex Martinez as a dog. If you're liking Raúl Manfio, plus 700. Like, Raúl Manfio is a live dog, even though I'm picking against him. I think that all the likely dogs here are going to be at the top is obviously Ray Cooper. I think that there's likelihood of Raúl Manfio, Alex Martinez. I think those are the true likely dogs of the night that could definitely come through for us. Even though, I'm not picking them to win all of them. I mean, I am picking Alex Martinez. There's still possibility there. Yeah, very slight dog is Ray Cooper III. Should be a pretty interesting night of action. I'm definitely planning on tuning in some capacity if I can, but I do have a graduation to go to, and we'll be doing some things throughout most of the day, hence why I'm not in studio. Cross parlay for like 50 to 1. Something to just throw $10 on. Yeah, you definitely could. No, you can put Werder on there as well. Werder is not bad. Bestev's chin is off. Yeah, let's add Werder in there. Let's go Werder, Mousasi from Bellator. And then let's go Magomed Karamov, Umalatov from PFL. Plus 138. I think that's a good one as well. I think that one really could cash. And it's only 4-fighter parlay to bring you into that nice plus money. Definitely some options here. Definitely some options. Looking forward to it, guys. Dude, don't look forward to my live stream tonight. Unfortunately, I can't do one tonight, my brother. I wish I could do one tonight. You guys know I love doing the play-by-plays. That's honestly one of my favorite things to do, but not in town, so unfortunately won't have that for y'all. I will be at a graduation party, so got some family stuff going on. Occasionally got to take a week off here and there. Yeah, no live streaming during the fight, unfortunately, this week, my brother. But we'll be back at it next week. Yeah, bro, I'm early right now. EFC times PFL parlay. Dude, that's interesting, man. I'd have to look more into EFC and the CFFC card. Definitely some potential bets and money to be made. Now, guys, make sure to smash the hell out of that like button. As I said, I need at least 75 likes up in here. So smash the likes. Thank you all for tuning into the show. It is much appreciated, as always. It was a lot of fun chatting it up with you guys. I appreciate all my people for tuning in to this live stream. Am I really confident in Tebow? I'm confident in Tebow, but not like supreme confidence. I'd say, yeah, go Werder over Tebow. Tebow after him. Yeah, we got to be smart here with the plays. Tebow's old, man. Tebow's an old man. CFFC has potential. EFC event this week is low level, but has some good dog spots. All right, yeah, bet those dogs in. Get those dogs plays down. Something like you can make probably real quick. That is like 10 to win 500. Dude, if you want to do one of those crazy ass parlays, I mean, I'll bring it up for you. What can we do? All right, so at this point, you're just asking me to bring in a lot of my picks. So let's put Mercier. Let's jump here. I guess you're going to have to, at this point, you're going to have to play Davion. Magomedov. Where's my dogs? Alex Martinez. I guess Alex Martinez, you probably got to bring him on as well. You're going to have to play like a lot of crazy-ass bets if you're looking at cash huge on some like wild man parlay, bro. That could be one right there if you're interested in it. That's a big one, though. But, guys, smash that like button. I do have to get out of here. I appreciate everybody for tuning in to this Fight Day live show. Again, I apologize that we did not get to do it last night, but we're going to make it happen. Now, we pulled it off. We came through. We got ourselves a full breakdown after the weigh-ins for both of these very exciting cards. Yeah, my confidence is in Tig Werder. I tend to bet on betonline.ag or MyBookie, but I am probably going to be making a FanDuel account here fairly soon. But hey, thank you guys for being here. I genuinely enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I really wish I was in studio so I could give you guys a fantastic play-by-play tonight, but is what it is. Life calls sometimes. You guys are great. Much love to everybody tuning in. Have a great day, everyone. Enjoy the fights. I'll definitely have some activity up on Twitter. So if you want, check out my Twitter. It's AJ MMA Experts. I definitely will be doing some type of random live updates there. So thank you guys so much. Have a great night, everybody. Peace.